where does Francis, like, who is Francis going to fight next? Who does Francis fight? Like, what is the obvious fight other than Jon Jones?
I was going to say Jon Jones.
Jon Jones is the obvious fight for the big money, right? That's the big fight.
That's the big boy.
That's what everybody would want to see.
Jon to me is the golden goose of the division because Jon Stipe's the biggest fight they can make.
No, but would they make that before they made Jon Jones?
I think it depends on Stipe. I know Stipe's ready to go.
But you were saying Jon Jones, Francis, but Francis is not ready to fight.
Francis says he's going to be ready early 2023.
How about Curtis Blades? Have they fought?
Curtis Blades has lost to Francis, yes.
Francis came
twice.
I'm saying, are you saying who does Francis fight?
Yeah. Well, who's Francis defend his title against? Because if Francis doesn't fight Jon Jones and Jon Jones fights Stipe, then who does Francis fight? Does he wait and fight the winner of that fight?
Waits and fights the winner because I think times he's not trying to rush back to it with that knee. So you do Stipe, Jon in December, and then Francis fight the winner in like March. It's Francis and Stipe. But also with Jon, the only knock on him recently would be he gets hit and can't get hit at heavyweight. But I think he's going to be smart at heavyweight. Because he's not a knockout artist, so he's going to take guys down, and then his fight IQ is what makes him special.
He doesn't have necessarily length at that
he does.
weight.
Oh, yeah. He has length. He has length. He's a freak, man. He's fucking huge.
I think Cyril Gane is every bit the striker he is, right?
Different.
Well, Cyril Gane's a better striker.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the best strikers the heavyweight division's
Right.
ever seen. But it's the combination of MMA skills that make Jon so
The wrestling,
spectacular. He
Jon
knows
can do
what
it
to
all.
do and when to do it.
Yeah.
He
And
improvises.
He can strike with you. Good luck getting close to him. He's the best distance manager maybe ever.
Yes.
He's very creative.
And then also when you get too close, he's going to take you down.
He'll
He's
take you down,
very
and
good
if he
at
takes
wrestling.
him down, he's not getting up.
Remember, he took DC down twice.
If Francis can take down Cyril Gane and dominate him on the ground, if Jon Jones gets on top of him, that's a totally different beast. And Jon's just as big as him now. Jon's big now. He's like 253.
Jon is submit you,
254.
too. Jon is submit you.
Yeah, it's just whether or not, he's in form, right? Whether or not the long layoff plays a factor, whether or not, the bigger weight class plays a factor.
It would have to.
And
right?
with a mover like Cyril Gane, the reason why him versus Jon would be so interesting is because Cyril moves like no other heavyweight. I think if you look at Jon Jones' early career, right? Jon Jones wins the title in 2011 and from then on has fought more fights as championship fights than he has other fights. So he's the most accomplished for sure. Wins the title, the earliest, youngest guy to ever win the title in the UFC. Beats Mauricio Shogun Rua, who's a legend. And then the way he dominates all these other fighters, up until you get to Alexander Gustafsson, you could make the argument that he had a similar career. You could make the argument, like if you look at what he did, Jon didn't lose any rounds. Jon was smashing people. You look what he did to Rashad Evans. Look what he did to Rampage Jackson. Look what he did to Lyoto Machida. Look what he did to everybody. Everybody he fought up until the Gustafsson fight. But the Gustafsson fight, then you have to say, well, how much slack do you give him for admittedly not training? Because it was a really close fight. He pulls it out in the championship round, even though he's out of shape, even though you talk to Greg Jackson, he didn't train for that fight. Didn't fucking train. Like barely worked out, but definitely didn't go through a training camp. Still managed to beat one of the best guys in the division after getting taken down for the first time in his career. Then goes on a tear, right? Look at the way he beat Daniel Cormier in the first fight. Took him down. Like, who the fuck takes Daniel Cormier down, right? And then you look at him in the second fight, even though it was ruled a no contest, we know what the fuck happened. He head kicked him and stopped him. It was spectacular. You look at what Jon has done, then you have to take into account the things that didn't go that well.
There's aspects of Jon's game that was, score some points. He was always moving forward with the action.
Mm-hmm.
But, even when he was moving forward with the action, he wasn't terribly too offensive. He would come with his legs, but, a lot of times he would allow Dominic to kind of be the first one to initiate it and then moving off. And then sometimes it seemed like he was just kind of chasing him. But, I think that it was that third round. That third round was that hard round to score.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Dom had the edge. But if you're gonna beat the champ, then you got to beat the champ.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he did that. Jon Jones impressed me so much with the shots that he was able to take, but more or less the mindset that Jon had. That mindset that Jon had in those championship rounds, to me, that showed that this guy is, he is the total package.